Hey, hey, this is the Sounds on Vinyl show, the only show on the planet that will make your ears bleed. My name, as always, is Phil Bowyer, and that dude sitting next to me is none other than Mike Svensson, lead singer of bands past, present, future. And how the hell's it going over there, man? And any updates on the record store? What's going
Oh
on with the
yeah.
record store?
Oh, it was payday weekend as we call it. So
Oh,
people went nuts
sweet.
buying a lot of stuff. And we had I mean I talked to you about this before. I mean the conversations that I get to have with the people that visit my store, fucking insane. I mean, it's almost like I told you before we we got on air here that I always have stuff going on, and I told you that I used to be a boxer,
Mm-hmm.
um, way back, like some 30 years ago. But it's sort of like people have stories, and even people that I know a bit, have new stories, and they want to share it. It's sort of like a common ground for people that love music but also want to share stories, and it's great. And people are hanging around, we're listening to music, having a cup of coffee, and shooting the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's great. I sold a lot of cool albums, stuff that um, I only, I mean, I've heard of. I mean, we talked about Paul Simon's Graceland, and I've I've never been interested in Simon and Garfunkel or Paul Simon for that matter. But it's sort of like when you hear people talk about it, how much stuff means to them, an album. Oh, I remember, and this guy who bought the Paul Simon Graceland, he told me a story when he was a kid growing up, and listened to this album, and it's so profound to listen to, because it was sort of like the same story that I have with other albums. And it's, even though it's divided between what you like and what you don't like, that shit doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me, because listening to the story about an album that means so much to a person, I mean, that shit is money in the bank right there. So it's great. I mean, that people come to the store, buy stuff, drink coffee, and talk about their memories of music. So it was all in good fun. A great
Yeah.
weekend. Great weekend.
Awesome.
There you go.
Awesome.
So, and if you want to visit the store, I forget to be, I have to be more American about this. You have to visit my store, the Sounds on Vinyl record store at Krusegatan 23 in Malmö, Sweden. And hook us up at soundsonvinyl.com, and you find all the good stuff on there,
That's right.
including this podcast.
That's right.
Including this podcast.
Soundsonvinyl.com.
You,
Get you where you need to be.
yes,
That's
do it
just
right now.
that's it.
No, wait a minute, because we got a show.
We
It's
got a
great.
show. We're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
talk about something. There's a big hint in the background of the
Oh, yeah.
here
Oh, yeah.
of what we're gonna talk about. And if you can guess the cover, then you know what we're talking about.
And I can't stop smiling. So that's a hint too.
It's one of Mike's favorite bands, and
Oh, yeah.
we rarely talk about this band on the show. I don't think this band ever gets mentioned, really. It's really strange.
It is.
But actually, it's been a while since we've gone through an album with Kiss.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. So
it is.
you gave me this choice, this list, and it's like, hey, let's do one of these. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do Hotter Than Hell. And
Yeah.
it's, you know, why not?
And
Hotter
it's
Than
crazy.
Hell.
Yeah, and it's crazy that we never talk about it. So, but it's I don't know, because people tend to listen to a lot of the songs, but they people don't mention this album when it comes to their favorite. And for people that don't know, it looks like this. You see,
Mhm.
it's all
Hotter Than Hell.
it's a beauty right there.
She's a
And of
beauty.
it's a beauty, and of course, it's a U.S. pressing. I have to say that
Of course.
it's very
Of
important.
course.
It's very important. It's all shiny with silver and whatnot, and the kabuki makeup and all that stuff.
Okay, so is this the copy that you listen to, or is this the copy that just sits in your collection and you
Oh,
only
shut
bring it
up!
out? No,
D-
no,
I
honestly,
mean,
I'm
I
curious.
mean, it's. Do I have more than one copy? Is that what you're trying to
Yes,
tell me?
I know you have more than one copy. You probably
Yes,
have 6.
Dean.
Dean.
Yeah, I actually do. This is not my go-to, because this is more like a collector thing. But I have a US copy that play every once in a while. But I tend to go through them. I have a Japanese one too, with the OB that's right there. I should have brought that one with me and show that one too, because that's really beautiful. But I tend to spin all of my Kiss albums. I don't. There is some of them that I take care way better than others, but I tend to take them up every once in a while and spin them, because I think there's life in this. It's a shame that it's only on a bookshelf all the time. So I'm spinning this every once in a while. But
All right,
look
so
how
tell tell
beautiful it is.
yeah,
Look.
tell us about this thing, all right? It was released
Yeah,
in what, 74?
yeah. In October of '74, and it was produced by Kenny Colonel and Richie Weiss, who did the first album too. A couple of rock and rolls. They wanted producers that knew what they were up against, because the whole thing with the makeup and whatnot. And it took. I mean, if you look at the time frame with Kiss, uh, in December of, we don't know the exact date, but Lydia Chris, who was Peter Chris's wife at the time, she has told a story that where we can narrow things down. So in December of 1972, Ace Frehley was the last member to join the band. So as of like January, sometime in December, January, they became Kiss with the name also. So, and they were a band called Wicked Lester before that. But on January 30th, they did their first show as Kiss at a place called Coventry in Long Island. Or it was, oh fuck me, it was Queens. Fuck me, Coventry, Queens. Yes, Queens.
Greens.
Sorry, Queens. And the first album came out in February 1974, and 7 months later, Hotter Than Hell was being released. So you can see the time frame. So it hasn't gone a year from that they became a full band. I mean, Kiss,
Mhm.
until they released uh, their second album. So the time frame was like chop chop chop. Uh, since they got signed to Casablanca Records and so forth. So they had a plan. Bill O'Coin, their manager, and Neil Bogart, the owner of Casablanca Records. So they saw something and they wanted to put music out there quite rapidly. So and they did.
And they
So it
did.
released on October 22nd, 1974. It only took like 4 days to record the whole album
Wow.
between September and oh yeah, now between August and September. Sorry. So I have to look at my notes here, so I don't do any mistakes. I can't do any mistakes with Kiss. And there is more to come when we're going
As we
through
go as we go
as we
through.
go. Yes,
Well,
yes,
let's start with the first track. Got to
y-
choose.
yes.
Truck 1. What do
Track
you think?
one. Well, I should ask you what you think. Got to Choose is it's a favorite of mine.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is. It is.
See, it's what's interesting is I'm not the Kiss fan that you are. Kiss is one of those bands that I kind of know the hits,
Mhm.
enjoy the hits. You start getting into deep cuts, and it gets interesting for me because we're going to get to a song that I'm going to mention something, and I'm going to shock everybody, I think, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh, you claim to be a metalhead and you don't know that," but it'll be funny. So a lot of these songs, it was my first time hearing these
Mhm.
songs
Yeah.
because mainly, again, I'm more of listening to the hits and not listening to albums per se.
Mhm.
So for me, I'm like, okay, this has got a good groove. Kind of has a Thin Lizzy vibe to it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's especially in the solo, very raw. This whole record's very, very raw. When you say
Yes.
4 days, it sounds like it, but not in a bad way.
No.
It sounds like they just went and they almost like live almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I mean by, it sounds like they just went in there, recorded it, and okay, let's do the next one.
Yeah.
Um,
And speaking
so
of the sound, there is, I mean, there is, I don't know how many forums there are, discussion forums, about only about the sound on on this album, and why it's so different to the first one, and the third one, and whatnot. So, but it's, yeah.
yeah, my only complaint with the song is that Gene's bass was a little toned down. I
Mhm.
feel like we could have heard that a little stronger. I feel like
Yeah.
it would have made that the song a little stronger, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of Gene's bass lines, I mean, he, he's one of the most underrated bass players on the planet, I think. Because if you listen to stuff that I mean, just try to listen to the bass lines that he does, but he doesn't see himself as a bass player. He doesn't identify himself as a bass player. He identify himself as a songwriter and a singer in Kiss. But there's stuff in there, like you said, it's groovy stuff. And if you listen to only the bass line on the first album, and on this one, and Dress to Kill, and later on, you can see it. It's There is groove. He came from, like, I mean, the 50s, and the groovy stuff, the soul and rhythm
Hmm.
stuff. So, and he puts that stuff in there sometimes. So, and I
Yeah.
I I hear what you're saying. It's a groovy song.
Hmm. All right. Track two,
Hmm.
Parasite.
Mm, it's a classic. It's a
It's
classic.
a classic.
I mean,
See,
every other drummer that I know have somewhere in this universe done that.
yeah.
It's I don't know. I don't know. There's something there.
See, I would have loved to seen them use this song to kick off the record.
Yeah.
That this would have been a great way to kick off the record.
Yeah.
Now, I have a confession to make, and I have to be
Yes.
honest
Oh, yeah.
right
Be
now.
honest.
This was the first time that I heard this song sung by Kiss. I know this song sung by Anthrax, done by
Oh.
Anthrax.
Oh my god.
So for me, it was like, holy shit. It's like, I know it's not a cover because this came out like 20 years, 30 years prior, but
Yeah.
it's like, okay, it was weird for me because it's like, wait a minute, I fucking know this song.
Yeah. And
And
you haven't listened.
I had no idea that Kiss did this song originally. I
Oh
just
my
never
god.
just never yeah. So
Damn.
and also being honest, I do like Anthrax version better. It's a
Yeah.
little heavier. It leans more towards my taste,
Yeah.
but um the solo and the lead up to the solo is way better in Kiss's version,
Hmm.
I think.
And even though that we did Kiss Alive, you haven't listened to it on Kiss Alive?
I guess I just missed it. I guess
Oh,
I
well.
just wasn't. I guess it went in one. I don't
Oh.
know.
Oh, you're in for a treat. Listen on your headphones and put Kiss Alive on and listen to Parasite, the live version. My God, and get back to me with the comparison between
Yeah,
Anthrax and that one.
yeah.
Oh my God, you're in for a treat, buddy.
There we
Woohoo!
go.
Fuck me.
There you go.
Yes,
All right, going blind.
going blind. Yes. Mm. There. I mean, I love Kiss. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I even got a shirt on for this show, even
Oh,
though
there you
because
go.
I'm sitting way too high. I have to lower my chair like this. So, can you see it? It's like
Yes,
this.
kiss,
Yes, cool.
kiss.
Kiss. So, this is how can I say it? It's a good song. Um, I mean, they did a great job with it. It's a classic. I've listened to when Paul and Gene did this acoustic thing on UK television some years back, which was way better because they sing together and it sounds great. It's a low point. It's a good song, but if you look at all the stuff together, it's sort of like, well, it's well, there is better songs, but I
There's
dig it. I have to say I dig it still. It's supposed to be in there, but I'm well,
You know,
it's Kiss.
it's one of the worst inventions in music besides country was the ballad.
Yeah.
And this is a ballad. And
Yeah.
ballads it ballads suck.
Yeah.
Let's be really honest. Ballads are going for the girls. They're not
Yes.
going for they want more girls to listen and show up to the shows, right?
Yes.
That's what the
Yes.
ballads are for. And
Yes.
I get it. But
Mm.
ballads ruin an album, they ruin a show, they take all the energy out, and this song is one of them. Now, with all that said, I do
Yeah.
think this song set the standard for hard rock and metal ballads. You
Yeah.
listen to this one and you listen to any from Skid Row to wherever, whatever band in the hair metal band in the 80s, you're Bon Jovi, you're going to hear this song
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it
I
is
I agree.
it set the it definitely set the standard for what a
Yeah.
ballad is.
And it's hard for me to put anything down when it comes to Kiss, but I mean, it's not a bad song. I get you with the ballad stuff. I don't agree 100% because I've been a DJ at a rock club, and there is nothing more grateful than doing a ballad and all the girls in one room go, "Yay! There's a song for me. Let's have a beer." So, but it's
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, and that was nicely put. That this is like the blueprint of all the ballads out there. Because I think I agree about that.
So
Because
we can
it's
blame
it's hard
Kiss
not
for all the
to.
shitty ballads out there.
If you want to, I mean, they got blamed for everything,
Yeah,
so why
they
not
did.
this too?
But
Yeah.
but
So
yeah, I mean ballads are ballads and like them or not, they
yeah,
exist and
yeah,
it's just what do you say? They're
yeah.
eh, you can't
But
please everybody, right? I mean,
no, and I know what you mean, 'cause and that's what I'm trying to get out there, because when you're like 12 or 13 and you started out with Kiss Alive and everything goes with a tempo like bam 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 bam
Mhm.
bam bam, and then you start and you backtrack and listen to these records and you're going, what the fuck is going on, what's wrong with the tempo?
What you do?
Yeah, what you do? And it's so
Yeah.
when okay, so when you listen to this album and you did that a couple of times and then you go, I mean, it's sort of like I don't know, I don't know. There's stuff in there that shouldn't be. I think I'm going back. I mean, yeah, but it's sort of like when you come on, when you're like 14, 15 years old, come on, up the
Yeah.
tempo, will you? Come
Yeah.
on.
Let's get to
Up,
the next song, Hotter Than Hell
yeah,
already. Come
yeah,
on.
come
Yeah.
on, man.
Come on.
So, and moving into
The title track, Hotter
the
Than
title
Hell.
track.
I mean,
Yes,
one of my favorite Kiss songs, actually.
yes.
I love this song. And but I think it's the best song on the record. It's got that groove, good hook.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
30, you know.
Yeah.
She's gonna leave you well done. I love that double entendre,
Oh, yeah.
It's all, I mean, it's just, for me, this is Kiss.
Yeah.
This is Kiss right here.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
this kind of, again, you're talking about the tempo, the just everything. That
Yeah.
this is, yeah. When I
Mm,
think of Kiss, I think of stuff like Hotter Than Hell and
yeah.
mhm.
And you've even there when you listen to the live stuff, when you hear Hotter Than Hell, it's, it's fuck me. I remember still to this day. I mean, the transition going from like, I mean, it was a bad combo starting out with Kiss Alive. I know that, but that became like my first album that I bought with my own money, and I listened to that. I mean, till the fucking album broke in two almost. Still got it though. And it's the same thing there. You wish that you could listen to it on an album, but it's the way it sounds here. It's still to. I mean, when I listen to this album once again today, and it's sort of like, fuck me. I know what you're. I know what's coming. It's in there, and it's beautiful
Mhm.
stuff. And then you hear family go by you when you're sitting there in the sofa with the cover art and trying to some, and you hear people going back, hot hot hotter than hell, and coming back, hot hot hotter than hell, and then it's a
Mhm.
good song.
Yeah.
So that's some good stuff right there.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Mm.
Track number 5, Let Me Go, a rock and roll.
Yes.
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 You want me to
Do
go
I?
first?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's a classic. Now, I will say, and people are gonna call me out on this, I'm sure, and you'll probably rip me a new one as well, but I feel like the last part of this last half of this album
Mhm.
has a bit of a country rock vibe going on.
Oh. Hmm.
Not stuff like Molly Hatchet, or not quite like Leonard Skinner or Eagles or stuff like that, but somewhere like in between all that.
Mhm.
Like if those 3 bands had a three-way, I feel like this album would be the result, maybe.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
starting with "Let Me Go Rock and Roll," you think
Yeah,
that's
I feel
country
like
too?
it's got like it's good
Oh.
old-fashioned rock and roll,
Yeah.
but, it's got hmm, like a Johnny B. Good vibe. So
Mhm.
it's a little bit of like the blues country, like I could hear this song walking down the street in Nashville, if
Oh,
you
okay.
will, right?
Uh-huh.
Where
Mhm.
there's still rock in Nashville. It's primarily country, yes, but
Yeah.
you got a lot of that country rock going
Yeah.
as well down there.
Yeah.
Not enough, but there's some. And I
Yeah.
feel like this album, as I'm listening to the rest of this album, I'm thinking, yeah, I could hear some band playing this kind of stuff like in Nashville or something. It's got
Yeah,
that kind of
I
or
get you when we do the next one and the last three. I get that, but I don't get it with Let Me Go Rock and Roll.
no?
No, I
See,
don't
and I
hear
thought it
it.
was odd because it's got rock and roll in the title.
Yeah,
And yet I'm hearing this light country rock Johnny B. Good, which I guess is more blues than
yeah,
country, but
and it's
it's
not the
that
sound,
line.
on the album that makes it more country when you hear the snare drum, because that's sort of like more of a
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
country.
That's the kind of I don't know. That's what I
Yeah,
glean from it. I mean, that's
all
just
right.
and I
Yeah,
tend to hear some weird shit too when I listen to music, so
yeah.
that's just me.
Yeah, because you're a weird one. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
and
a
I'm
I'm
a
I'm
weird
a
one.
yeah,
But yeah, yeah,
I'm
and
cool with
you're
that.
American on top of that. So
Yeah, I got all that going on, against
oh
me. I got a lot of
oh
stuff against me.
oh my bad. All right. So a quick story about this one. This one was called "Baby Let Me Go" from the beginning, and
Mhm.
it's sort of like it was a song that was written before the first album.
Mm,
It actually was played on the very first show on January 30th of 1973, and it was called "Baby Let Me Go." There was a
mm,
slight difference but it's sort of like the same song. So there we
mm.
go. So
Alright.
yes,
There we go. All the way,
hmm
track 6.
all the way. Yeah, it's getting hairier for me. uh, I I I do like I do love this album. It's hard because there is stuff that I mean it's when you have such passion for a group that I do with Kiss, it's sort of like every record has its face and its place in time, and I'm so freaking nerdy, so I'm looking at the evolution of it, so I
Mhm,
can get why, because I mean the best thing, except for Kiss Alive though, the best thing ever recorded in a studio with Kiss, it's the first demo that they did with Eddie Kramer. So, and that's like the best thing ever on tape, because they just went in there and they just let it rip. No producers, no nothing. I don't even know. There's speculation that Eddie Kramer wasn't actually in the room. He was sort of like he's coming and going with different productions in rooms on Electric Lady. He was there, but there was another engineer that did like the levels of it. So and it's, I mean,
mhm.
fuck me, that's some great stuff. So all the way, good song. A bit if you're going with the country vibe, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Country rock, if you know what,
yeah.
if you
Yeah,
will.
it's got some country rock. What's interesting though about Kiss in general on this record, but really specifically for the last half of this record, they have this like sort of good old fashioned rock and roll kind of with a slight country rock lean to it. But
Hmm.
when the solo kicks in,
Yeah,
it's a completely different song. It's a
yeah.
completely different sound, and I think this song is like that. The opening is really cool. I like the opening. It's different, but yet it's still Kiss. It's
Hmm.
still Kiss. Like you still know, like before anything happens, you still know that it's Kiss.
Yeah.
For it just has that sound.
And
So
it's funny because we can do a connection between what you say with country, because the Wicked Lester, the band that Paul and Gene had way before Peter and Ace joined the band, it was sort of like country, bluegrass, rock and roll thing. They did stuff all over the place. So I don't know if that's something that they took with them, and that's what you're hearing. I couldn't say that I can hear country in there, because I can't. But I've listened to this album in a way different way that than you have throughout the years.
Right.
But I can get what you're saying. I don't impose, and because there is a vibe, a country vibe, as you say.
Yeah. Well, and let's go to the next track, "Watching You," because I feel
Yes.
like what you were just saying with Wicked Lester,
Yeah.
I think that really pops it up in this song. I mean, this is an interesting song.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like there's a little they took all the music
Mm-hmm.
in 1973, 1974, and they put it in this song.
Mm.
There's a little bit of disco feel in there. There's some country rock, there's some
Oh my
blues, there's
god.
some pop, there's some rock. I feel like it's really interesting how they took all these influences and crafted this song. Again, I tend to hear some weird shit sometimes, but
Yeah.
I also at the same time with all of that, I hear a little bit of early Priest.
Mm. Yeah.
You talk about an evolution of a band. Priest really evolved from their early days to the 80s
Yeah.
and what they are now.
Mm-hmm.
And I do hear like a little in the main riff, there's a little bit of early Priest, I
Mm.
hear.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
This is more heavier for me. I mean,
mhm,
I love this track. I mean, it's one of my favorites on this album, besides God Issues and Parasite and Hotter than Hell. So, Watching You it's in there too, and it's also been played since before the first record
mm,
live, as as you hear it here on this album. So, and I think it's way heavier, more rock and roll. I hear bits of Stones in there,
mm.
even though I get the Judas Priest resemblance. I never thought about it, but it's sort of like I think they came out in about the same time. I think Priest is it's an old band too. I think
Yeah, I wanna
73,
say
74, and something
yeah, I
like
wanna
that.
say 73 for some reason,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know that they that there is resemblance that they listen to one another, because I don't think that be the case at all. But
Mm.
I hear more bluesy stuff in Watching You, and it's really heavy. And if you go listen to the Kiss Alive album, it's so freaking heavy.
I
Yeah.
just
So
glanced at my notes, and
yeah,
I hear a little BeeGees in there as well.
BeeGees. Oh my god.
And I think that might actually be the first reference to BeeGees on the show.
Oh, m- m- Bee Gees. I
BeeGees.
wonder which part of this is the Bee Gees. Are we listening to the same song here?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe I got some weird bootleg version I listen to, I don't know, man, but no, it's not prominent, it's more of like, okay, I can hear a little bit of influence Bee Gees, it's not like you hear Andy
Oh,
Gibbs singing or anything on here, but
no.
it's sort of like
Hmm.
the groove of the Bee Gees, if you will.
Jeez. That's strange. I mean, what was Bee Gees even a thing in '74?
I don't know when the Bee Gees came out, to be honest with you,
Me neither.
but
But
well,
it's
Kiss was Bee Gees before the Bee Gees were Bee Gees.
oh, come on, stop it right now, stop
Kiss,
it.
I'm going on record now and saying that Kiss influenced the Bee Gees.
You should be glad that you're so far away.
All right, let's move on to track 8, Main Line.
Yeah. Mainland. Mountain. You had to keep Peter Chris happy. If I don't get a song on the record, I'm quitting. I mean, I think he quit the band like 106 times up to this album. I shit you not. Be- I
Wow.
mean, there are so many stories about Peter Chris. It's I don't know. I got a friend of mine who's completely in love with Peter because of the history of him. I mean, there's so much stuff in there where he goes he knocks you down and tries to get up, and then knock him down again and tries to get up through his career. And it's sort of like there is a story just when they started out. Well, Lydia Chris, Peter's wife, and Paul and Jean went to a Chinese restaurant, and he thought it was a good idea to imitate the waiters, uh, doing like, oh, like that.
Hmm.
And they asked him to stop, and he wouldn't. And Lydia asked him to stop. And this is a guy who did like 300 bar gigs before joining Kiss. He was so freaking desperate that on the first audition that he did, their then manager Lou Lynett, he drove Peter back to his apartment in Brooklyn, and he cried, "Oh, if I don't get this gig, I don't know what I'm going to do." And even though he got the gig, he's still trying to sabotage. He's been doing that since day one. It's fucking insane.
Hmm.
And so the rumor goes that he said, um, um, from that restaurant, if you walk out on me, because they took their coats and whatnot, then they left the restaurant. And if you leave me, I'll quit the band. And Lydia sitting there going, "What the fuck? I mean, you just cried over not being able to play in a rock and roll band, and now you're on the way to success, and now you're quitting. What's going on? I can't pay the rent anymore by myself." So, and that's Peter. If you leave me, if you don't do what I say, so, and I demand having a song on the album. So, mainline and the last one is sort of, it comes from that, and it's, you can hear all the sad stuff because Peter's not he's not a songwriter, and it's barely that. I mean, he's barely a singer, if you know what I mean. He's got
Now that wasn't him singing on this, though, is it?
oh yeah,
It is. Oh, it is him.
yeah, Peter Chris,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay, okay.
Mainline,
That
if you
okay.
give it to me one time.
All
Dun,
right.
dun, ba-dun. Oh yeah.
Okay. For some
Mm-hmm.
reason, it kind of sounded like Gene, and I'm like, okay, Gene sounds really
Oh.
fucking weird on this. And he's got like a freaking Rod Stewart slash Kim Carnes kind of vibe going on with this. Like, what the fuck's
Yeah,
going on?
yeah,
I didn't realize it was Peter singing. Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense now. See, that shows you my ignorance of the band Kiss. I have no idea who's singing what at any given point. But I can hear
Well.
the BeeGees in the song, so,
Oh man, the Bee
okay,
Gees.
all right. Yeah, there we
I
go.
the Bee Gees.
The
Jesus,
BeeGees.
my God.
Okay, coming
Yes,
home, truck
coming
number
home.
9.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is a. I'm when I hear this song, I'm only thinking about the unplugged thing that they did back in '95, because that's the opening track that they did, and it sounds freaking awesome on acoustic guitars.
Mm.
Um, I dig the song. There is something in there, but fuck me, the country thing, it's stuck in my head at the moment, and it's, well,
Yeah,
not one of
I
my favorites, but still.
yeah, there's I kinda like the sound around the 1-minute mark I've got here on
Yeah,
my notes, and it
yeah.
reminded me of something that I can't put my finger on. It, like, kinda has a Fox on the Run vibe,
Oh yeah,
you know?
Sweets
But
Fox
it's
on the Run.
not,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of like this sweet sort of, I don't know.
Mm,
But yeah. Yeah, it wasn't one of my favorites either.
no.
But it was still, again, this Kiss, early Kiss to me is a lot like AC/DC. You're gonna get Kiss
Hmm.
one way
Yeah,
or another.
yeah,
It
yeah,
may be a little BG style, but you're gonna still get Kiss.
yeah, yeah. I hear you. And that's the main thing for me. It's still Kiss, and I still listen to it, and I don't stop and going, "What the hell is going on here? What kind of song is that?" It's sort of like it's in there. It's in my DNA.
Mhm.
Listen to, I mean, it's I don't know. There's something wrong with me, but who cares?
All right, Strange Ways, last song, track
Yeah,
10.
yes, that's the same thing, really. Peter needs a song on the album, or he'll quit.
Mm.
Of course, I might be totally off, but it's that feeling that I have.
Yep.
I mean, it's I don't know what it is. Is it blues? Is it rock and roll? Is it bluegrass or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
got
know.
it's for me, it was, the slow temp of this one, it gives it this, like, anxious or uncomfortable feel to it, if you will. It's
Mm,
like, it's hard to explain, but it's like, I don't know. And
yeah,
you get into the chorus, and it doesn't seem to calm any of that uneasiness that it gives off. It's a weird, uncomfortable song, and it's an interesting choice to end the album with, I
I
think.
think so too. I think so
Yeah.
too. Yeah. If we're going to analyze this, I think so too. I mean, they could do so much better. I mean, but I'm thinking that they're on the road. I mean, the club days of Kiss ended in January of 1974. That's the last time they ever did a smaller gig, and from that point on, it was there were. I mean, if they weren't like in bet between like, let's say, mid February of 1974, around that period of time when the first album came out, and up to like Kiss Alive, there were openers, supporting act. Sometimes they were the headline act and whatnot, and things started to grow so fast for them that I bet that they had to go in and record an album, because this one was recorded in Los Angeles at the Village Recorder in Los Angeles, and they recorded it on 4 days. Bet- I mean, it was released in October, and they were already on tour when the album came
Mhm.
out. So it was like chop 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 chop. They had to do it, and they had to record it, and I'm guessing that's why the sound is a bit different on this one, because they
Mm.
didn't have the time. They didn't have the time to do any fine tuning. And so when Peter goes, "I'm leaving the band," and you can see all the dough going out of the window, and they all the shows that they got booked, and they say, "Okay, for crying out loud, you can have your fucking song. Who cares?" And I think that's why um, I haven't gone in deep with this at all, because I really don't care for Peter Chris. I think he's like Dave. He's a whiny little bitch. He had the chance when he got back into Kiss in 1996, and he blew it like Ace did, because
Mhm.
they're both junkies. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they didn't have a career after Kiss. I mean, Peter Chris left the band in 1980, and Ace was out in 1982, something like that, and they didn't have a huge career after that, and said, "Well, we're fine on our own. We could do whatever we want because we're Peter and Ace from Kiss." But who were they outside of Kiss? They were nobodies, because they were doing so much drugs. So I mean, sometimes they couldn't even stand up.
Mm.
So and it's nuts to see that go to waste. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at, but it's sort of like they had to do this rapidly, this album. So and speaking of rapidly, how many songs did you think survive into the live set from this album? How many songs were added to the live set
From this album?
from this album? Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea. I would have
No.
to say, let me see. Obviously, Hotter Than Hell,
Oh yes.
Parasite,
Yes.
um, maybe Got to Choose.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So is there more?
Yeah. But of the newer ones, I mean, Let Me Go Rock and Roll was on already in the set,
Okay.
as since they did it like in '73, so it's leftovers from the club period. But on the newer songs that they wrote for this album, it's only Got to Choose, Parasite, and Hotter Than Hell that made it into the set list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and they tried some of them, but it didn't work. It didn't work at all. So it's like you said, it. I mean, you gotta have the tempo, because if you listen to a Kiss show from the '70s, it's sort of like it's tempo, 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 tempo. There's no ballad. There's no down point in. I mean, it's Watching You that it's
Mhm.
more like down tempo, and if you listen to the live version, it's not even a down tempo song.
Mm.
But if you had to go there, it's so of the new songs they wrote for this album, it's Got to Choose, Parasite, and Hotter Than Hell. So because since Let Me Go Rock and Roll was already in the set in '73, and Watching You also, so
All right.
those are the three songs that survived.
Wow. There we
Oh
go.
man,
Fun
yes,
facts. Fun
yes,
facts.
fun facts.
There we go. Hotter Than Hell rating. Overall rating. Or should I probably shouldn't ask you that because you're going to give it a 10 out of 10 anyway, just because it's Kiss. You're not going to give
Yeah,
Kiss anything less than 10 for 10.
yeah,
Right.
yes, yeah.
I
I
mean,
have,
you might give this one like a 9.8 and a half because
yeah.
it's got strange ways on it or whatever. But
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
look at
it's
this. I mean, how can you beat that? How can you beat that? I mean, look at it. It's so freaking beautiful.
there you go.
Look. And on the backside, that's a 10 out of 10 right there.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
That is Hotter Than Hell
Oh yeah.
from the Sounds on Vinyl show. And you know, you need to get some merch, man. You need
Oh
your
yeah.
official Sounds on Vinyl merch. And it's high quality stuff. And you
Mm,
just gotta go make it happen. So you can
yeah.
you can show the world what your favorite podcast is,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because we talk about bands like Kiss, we talk about bands like Black Sabbath and Dio and have we done Rainbow? I was going to say Rainbow because Rainbow was actually on your list,
Yeah. It was.
and I wanted to do that one, but we just did Black Sabbath and Ronnie, so I didn't want to
Yeah.
do. Although that might have been interesting, but yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So go get
And
some merch, man. We got all kinds
yeah.
of stuff. We got pint glasses, we got shirts, we got coasters, high
Caps.
quality coasters. I mean, they're
Oh yeah.
they're a little on the pricey side, I will admit, and we're not making jack shit on profit on that, to be honest with you. But they're I got some with the Booze Hound logo on them, and they're fucking tits, man. They really are. They're great. So go pick
Nice.
them up. They're gonna last. They're
Nice.
gonna last you a lifetime.
Yeah.
So go make it happen. And then if you didn't want to buy online and you're in the neighborhood of Mike's record store over there in Malmo, I'm not even going to
Mm.
attempt to pronounce the street name or anything like that because, mm-mm. But
Uh-uh.
he's got merch over there too, so you can go pick it up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and you
And
can wear it out of the store even.
yes, and if you want to know where the store is, you can actually now go to Google Maps and write in Sounds on Vinyl record store, and it will take you straight there.
Fucking hell.
Yes, and I will throw in a little tidbit for you right now. It's a bit of a surprise, maybe. I should have done it a long time ago, but since it's a Kiss episode, and if you're listening, go in to the record store, find me there and say, I listened to Kiss Hotter Than Hell episode, so give me 10% off, and you will get your 10% off in the record store.
Damn.
Yeah, you see, right now.
See, just listening to this show pays.
Listen to the
All you
show,
just
man.
listen to it, man.
Yes.
Listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Sweet.
Yes.
All right. And with that, we'll leave you to go visit Mike at his record store or go listen to Kiss on your turntable.
Oh, yeah.
Or, I don't know, go to a Kiss concert if they're playing anywhere near you these days. I don't know what their
This
tour
has
is.
been the
They keep
Sounds on
coming
Vinyl
back
show
and going
with
away
Mike
and coming
Svensson
back.
and Phil Bowyer.
It's the end of the road
Produced by
tour, but
Boosound
the
Entertainment
road I don't
in
think ever,
cooperation
it just
with
keeps
Boosound
circling back
Music.
around.
Let's not go
Intro
into
and
that.
outro
We won't
songs
go
by
into
Ed
that.
Oh,
Hannon,
no.
courtesy
All right.
of
Pineapple.
Shotglass Records.
All right. Well,
All right.
until next time.
Videos
Later.
and other
Later.
extras. Visit soundsonvinyl.com. Thanks for listening and for all your motherfucking support.